We're in Jamestown, Rhode Island. This is one of the larger islands in Narragansett Bay. It's right next to Newport. And this is the tip of the island. It's called Beaver Tail. There's a lighthouse here as well. I think it's the third oldest lighthouse location in the United States. Obviously, the original lighthouse isn't still standing. That was made of wood back in colonial times. But it's a great place. And 20 plus years ago, when Karen and I were looking for a house, we were renting a place here in Jamestown while we were trying to find a place to buy. And so every morning I would ride my bicycle down here to Beaver Tail, and before work, watch the sunrise come up, and then ride back to the house and get ready and go to work. So this place has a special place in my heart, and still love coming down here to Jamestown whenever we visit Rhode Island. So this video is going to be about some of the most famous foods of Rhode Island, some of the iconic things. And Rhode Island's got a unique place in culinary lore because it's got unusual things that you really can't find anywhere else, and some stuff that you can find in other places that just happens to be really good here in Rhode Island. So that's what this video is going to be about. And I didn't get any of this stuff today in Rhode Island. We were driving down from Cranston, so we stopped at a place called A&J's Bakery and got a couple typical Rhode Island treats. So I'll tell you what we got. We'll start off with something called a pizza strip. If you're not from Rhode Island, or I think Philadelphia has something called a tomato pie. In Utica, New York, they also have something called a tomato pie, but I've never seen, there goes my napkin. I'll pick that up later. Don't worry, I'm not going to litter. They call it a pizza strip. And what's unusual about these is that you can see the shape of it. They're baked in baking pans, baking sheets, and then they're cut into these rectangles like this. And all it is it's the dough, the pizza dough, and then it's covered with this rich tomato sauce. And it's served usually at room temperature. Now you can see other versions of this. Some of them are topped with cheese or maybe just a sprinkling of Parmesan. Some of them have other toppings on them, but this is the traditional pizza strip. And the other thing about this is you won't usually find these in a pizzeria. Like, you won't go into a pizzeria and say, give me some pizza strips. You'll find these in bakeries. So you walk into a bakery and usually they're just sitting on the counter. And the gold standard for pizza strips is a place called Di Palmieri's in Johnston, I think. And they make awesome pizza strips, but we weren't in that area. We were in Cranston, so we got these from A&J's. That's pretty good. I like mine with a little more tomato sauce on it, but that's a pretty good pizza strip. Oh, the other thing you want on your pizza strip is dried oregano sprinkled on top. They got oregano in there. So that's good. The other thing about pizza strips that's interesting is anytime you go to a party at someone's house in Rhode Island, there will always be pizza strips served. Always. In fact, we're having a party at our place that we're staying at on Saturday night, I think it is. And one of the people, we had lunch with her the other day, and she said, "Oh, I'll bring pizza strips." I mean, every party literally you go to, people bring pizza strips. So that's something that you got to get when you come to Rhode Island. They're so good. I miss having pizza strips. And then I got a cannoli. So Rhode Island has the largest concentration of Italian Americans in the United States. New Jersey has a lot too, obviously. There's a lot in Boston, but Rhode Island has the largest concentration, and in my opinion, this is where you'll find the best Italian food in the United States, in Rhode Island. And we'll do a whole video dedicated to the Little Italy of Providence called Federal Hill. But in this video, we'll just have a cannoli, and if you had cannolis before, you know that it has the tube-shaped cookie crust here, and then it's filled with ricotta cheese, and then you might have some nuts or some dried fruit, or in this case, chocolate chips on the end. I like mine, with pistachio, but A&J didn't have that. What they had was chocolate chips. So that's what this is, and Okay, so that ricotta, nice and sweet. Just the way I like it. So that's really good too. So we're gonna try a few more Rhode Island things, but I thought we'd start the day down here by the ocean in Jamestown to get us going. I'm gonna enjoy my pizza strip and my cannoli like a real Rhode Islander. We're at Plant City on South Water Street in Providence. This is a nice location. The river is right behind me. There's also this road back here, so there's going to be some street noise, but I'm not sure what this building used to be. Plant City's only been here a couple of years. It looks like it may have been like a warehouse or a factory or a mill of some kind. Providence back in the day, even up until the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, was one of the leading manufacturers of jewelry in the entire country. So maybe this had something to do with the jewelry business. I really don't know. But it's a cool old industrial brick building. And what they've done is they've converted it into kind of a vegan food hall. So inside there's a little grocery, very small grocery, but it's got all kinds of cool, crackers and prepared foods and frozen foods and jams and jelly, all kinds of stuff like that. They even had Van Leeuwen ice cream bars. Van Leeuwen's one of my favorite ice cream makers in the whole world, and they've got Van Leeuwen in there as well as some other ice cream. So they've got a little grocery market. We bought some crackers. I think they were made out of cauliflower or something. Try those maybe when we get home. And then they've got several restaurants in there to sample. So there's a little bar, there's a coffee shop, there's a Neapolitan style pizza, there's a burger place, and I think there might be maybe there's a vegan sushi place in there. So lots of different stuff. We're here in the morning because we're getting an early start. So the major restaurants aren't open. The coffee place is open, and they have a whole row of prepared foods and bakery items and things of that nature. So let me tell you what we got here today, because it was pretty interesting. I was really happy with their selection. So this is called a German chocolate Pop-Tart, and okay, so remember Pop-Tarts when you were a kid, of course. So it's got the chocolate, and then it's got a layer of filling on the inside, and then the topping, which is the icing, and then the coconut, just like a German chocolate cake. So wow, that is really good. Chocolatey, sweet icing. That chocolate filling. German chocolate cake was my favorite cake when I was a little kid. I used to ask my mom to make it for my birthday. This reminds me of that. It's so good. Didn't get any coffee in here because one of my favorite places, Dave's Coffee, is right, I don't know, 1 minute walk around the corner. So I got a Dave's Coffee. That's what this is, and we'll have more about Dave's Coffee in another video. But I gotta say, I'm really happy with that German chocolate Pop-Tart. Wow. Then I got this vegan strawberry chia pudding topped with pistachio. That was the selling point for me. And blueberries. So We'll see how this is, I don't know. But it looked good. Okay, so I expected it to be sweet because it has that pudding name in it, but it's not sweet. But it has a really nice strawberry flavor. So I thought it was just like chia pudding, and then they lined the bottom with strawberries, but the actual pudding itself has strawberry in it, like pureed strawberry. So that's really tasty. So that's gonna get us going, definitely. I wanted to come here to Plant City. Like I said, it's only been open for a couple of years now. Last time we were in Rhode Island was 2 years ago, and I wanted to come then. We didn't get to make it then, unfortunately. I'm happy that we made it today. We're definitely going to have to come back. I don't know if it'll be on this trip, but definitely on our next trip, and come at night when the bar is open, when the pizzeria is open, when the burger place is open, and try some more of their great vegan food, because everything that I've had here has just been outstanding. The people inside are super friendly. They're explaining everything to you if you have questions. So really like this place a lot, and we'll be coming back to Plant City definitely. We're in East Greenwich, Rhode Island for our Rhode Island food crawl, and this is a place called Jigger's Diner. East Greenwich has really become an elevated foodie spot here in Rhode Island. You walk up and down this main street, it's packed with restaurants, and it's become, you know, more elevated here than it was back in the day. So you'll see stuff like modern Italian, sushi places, fancy coffee shops, places like that. But this place, Jigger's Diner, has been here forever, for as long as I can remember, and I'm sure it goes back before I moved to Rhode Island back in 1990. Diners are really an important part of Rhode Island food culture, and these are the classic diners that you see that look almost like you know, like camper vans, like large camper vans. Food trucks basically is what they were back in the day. This place, of course, is permanent, but it's that same classic narrow diner look. And you've got booths on one side, you've got a counter space with stools on the other side, and then in the back, you've got the kitchen with the griddle. And that is just so classic Rhode Island. There's tons of places like this that are still left, that are still operational. Here in East Greenwich, there's one in Wickford that I can think of, and of course, I wonder if Haven Brothers is still going on in Providence. So anyway, there's lots of places like this. And, you know, they serve classic diner fare, but they've also had to modernize with the times. So what I got was kind of a look at both sides of the modern and the traditional. So I got a avocado toast. How could it be more modern and hipster than that? On a hard roll with tomato and pesto. Really good. So that's really nice. But what I came here for was a Johnnycakes. Now, you look at that. This is just a traditional classic dish to get here in Rhode Island. And what it is, it actually dates back to the Native American times, because it's made of ground cornmeal. And then, I don't know what they had, maybe some milk or something, and cook it on the griddle till it's crispy on the outside. Can serve it with butter or syrup. I got mine with syrup. And that's all there is to a Johnny cake. It's super simple, but man, it is so incredibly tasty. Now this cornmeal, let's give this a try. Man, I haven't had one of those in so long. It's been 11 years now since we moved away from Rhode Island, and we still come back here fairly frequently, but I don't think I've had a Johnny cake in at least a decade. I like them better than pancakes. Crispy on the outside, you get that cornmeal, cornbread type taste on the inside. This is ground from a local place called Kenyon's Grist Mill, and they're a famous mill that grinds all kinds of stuff, but they're known for their cornmeal that's used to make Johnny cakes. And only in Rhode Island could you get away with being a grist mill that grinds flour for Johnny cakes, but that's what they do. It's a great place. I know a couple of members of the family, and they're great people. There even used to be, I don't know if they still have it, there used to be a Johnny Cake Festival. That's how big Johnny Cakes are in Rhode Island. They had a festival just dedicated to Johnny Cakes, and you would go to this. Karen and I were talking about it. I think it was in North Kingstown, and they would just crank out the Johnny Cakes, and you would go there and enjoy Johnny Cakes, and there'd be music and just people gathering, having a good time. And I am really, really happy with my Johnny Cake. This is a great way to start our little food crawl through Rhode Island. I'm going to enjoy this. Normally, they come in quantities of 2 or 4 or more. We got 2, but Karen and I split this, so we got 2 of these avocado toasts. We got 2 of the Johnny Cakes. The syrup is really good, and it feels like Rhode Island. Couldn't be any more Rhode Island than coming to Jigger's Diner. So good. All right, so we're going to finish this video in Oakland Beach in Warwick, Rhode Island, and this is Iggy's. This is a institution in Rhode Island. In the summertime, this place is jammed, but you know, it's pretty busy here on just a regular weeknight in the middle of the fall. So Oakland Beach is a historical part of Rhode Island. It's right on Narragansett Bay, and back in the day, this used to be a pretty fancy little area, but I think it was 1954, maybe 52. Hurricane Carol came in and just swept this place away. Most of the buildings were destroyed, and Oakland Beach kind of went into long, hard decline. And when I was living in Warwick, not in Oakland Beach, but in Warwick in the 90s and early 2000s, this place was kind of a dump. I mean, you know, you'd come out here to go to Iggy's, but that was it. And it looks like they're trying to come back. But anyway, I wanted to tell you about Iggy's because it's just such a funny, cool, iconic place here in Rhode Island. And they sell stuff like, you know, seafood, like lobster rolls, and they're known for their clam cakes and their chowder and stuff like that, seafood. But really, what you're coming out here for is the Doughboy, and that's what I came for. The logo isn't on the bag, unfortunately, but they've got a really funny logo of a character that is a doughboy that takes on some human features. So it's really kind of funny. So what is a doughboy? Well, it's just fried dough. So it's kind of like a beignet, really. It's square like this, deep fried, and then you can get it topped with powdered sugar, granulated sugar and cinnamon, or just granulated sugar. And Karen reminded me that the traditional way that you want to get it is just granulated sugar by itself. So that's what I get. And that's how simple it is. Just dough, deep fried, granulated sugar. The good part about this is it comes right out of the fryer. So it's still warm. It's not crispy, it's doughy, it's yeasty. It's comfort food here in Rhode Island. I would love to have a coffee with this, I think. That would make it ideal. Anyway, that's the video of our Rhode Island specialty food items. And, you know, there's a lot more where that came from. We didn't get a chance to do New York Systems, which is kind of a hot dog, which is also known in Rhode Island as a gaga. We didn't get to do the, the cabinet, which is another funny Rhode Island thing. That's, it's not a piece of furniture, it's a cabinet. It's called a cabinet, it's food. And there's other Rhode Island specialties too that we didn't get a chance to do. So, we come to Rhode Island, we try to come once a year. So maybe next time we come, we'll do some more on these fun Rhode Island foods that are so unique to this little tiny state in New England. If you like this kind of stuff, if you like food and you like travel, then subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, drop us a like. Drop me a comment in the comment section. Let me know what your favorite Rhode Island or regional food is, and maybe I can do a video on that as well. There's also a Destination Eat Drink podcast, weekly cities all around the world that we travel to. We've done over 250 episodes, so there's lots from that. You can find out where it is at destinationeatdrink.com/pod, or just look on your podcast app, search Destination Eat Drink, and it'll pop up. I'm on all the platforms. Until next time, thanks for watching. I'm Brent Peterson. See you down the road.